The holidays, they sure are a fun and festive time, but that doesn't mean that we need to neglect taking extra precautions to preventing injuries. We're going to review some important safety concerns and steps to keep in mind for an injury-free holiday, and we all want that, don't we? We are joined by Cone Health's Urgent Care Medical Director, Dr. Philip Lamptey. First off, let's just talk about something that happens very commonly this time of year when we're putting up Christmas lights and things. We're talking about falls.
Yes, falls are one of the common things that happen when we're putting up our Christmas lights and all the decorations and the fancy stuff that we do. The cords are actually one of the things that people get caught in or trip over, especially the young ones. So we should always make sure that the cords are tucked away in areas where you're not likely to have your feet caught in that. Other things also are the ornaments and toys, and those ones should be kept free from the pathways, just to make sure that nobody steps on it or trips on it and falls. When we're setting up our trees as well, we need to make sure that we have ladders on hand so that if you cannot reach all the way up, you're not stretching or leaning on the Christmas tree. And we'll also make sure that those decorations are on a base that is flat so it doesn't wobble. The other thing is, if you have medical conditions or medications that makes you unsteady, putting up these trees can be very challenging, and that is usually something that you need to seek help for.
Okay, so we need to keep those things in mind. I think, a lot of times our Christmas houses are kind of a little bit cluttered here or there because we have a lot of things, and you're reminding us, hey, make sure that we have good pathways to walk. The other thing that is big over the Christmas holidays, of course, toys and food, and therein comes the choking hazards. Tell us what we need to be aware of.
Yeah, so choking is a very dramatic event and very unfortunate if it results in mortality. What I'll say is that in 2019 there were 5,200 deaths from choking. And 75% of those are in kids under the age of 4 years. So we always have to be mindful when we are during these holidays. We think about things that could present as choking hazards. So things like small toys, ornaments, balloons, small balls and marbles are some of the items that could present as choking hazard. And also, if you think about food, you think about hard candy, sticky candy, nuts and seeds, chunks of raw vegetables and meat, as well as popcorn and things like whole grapes. Basically, you can think of it as if anything that could fit in the toilet paper, the tube of the toilet paper, potentially is a choking hazard, can present a choking hazard. So that would be a rough estimate of what would be choking hazard for kids especially.
Okay, so you see in urgent care lots of people coming to you with all kinds of different injuries. We talked about the falls and we talked about choking. Let's now talk about fire safety and burns and things of that nature.
So with fire safety, I always say that you can break it down into three. You think about knowing the basics when it comes to fire safety and fire prevention. Getting basic resources that you can keep at home and also being prepared. With the basics in terms of information is to know how to use a fire extinguisher, knowing to pull the pin, aim at the base of the fire, squeeze the handle, and then use the spraying motion to put out the fire whilst you stand 6 to 8 feet away, making sure that you know it to stop, drop, and roll, cool and call if you fall, if you're caught on fire. And usually these are, if they're small fires, like your clothes is caught on fire and things like that. And having the basics is basically having a fire extinguisher at home handy so that if there is any small fire outbreak, you can put it out very quickly. Also having smoke detectors, smoke alarms. And with those ones, I always say, think about 1 month, 1 year, and 10 years. 1 month, you should clean it every month. make sure that you test it every month. For every year, if it does not have a lifelong battery, you have to change the batteries every year. And then 10 years, you change the whole smoke detector. Also, having carbon monoxide detectors at home is very handy, given that we are in a cold weather and most people will be indoors for longer periods of time.
Okay,
And
so,
the
oh,
third,
go ahead. Go ahead.
yeah, the third part will be being prepared. So with being prepared, you have to know your house, know your house plan. I'm teaching everyone knowing how to call the fire department and 911, and also agreeing on an assembly point outside the house that everybody is expected to go in case there's a fire. If you have young kids at home who are less than 5, if you have elderly people who have physical challenges, and if you have special needs people at home, you should always plan to have an adult help them out in case there's a fire at home.
Yeah, and it's never a bad idea to kind of run through those scenarios. You don't want to have to try and figure all that out when something is happening and everyone is panicking. All right, so Dr. Lamptey is going to be joining us for a second segment, and we're going to be talking about eat, drink, and be merry. But how merry? He's talking about alcohol consumption. Come on up next.